billion, 700 billion, 1 trillion, 1.4 trillion, 2 trillion. Hello, in 2022, Nigeria's subsidy is, 2022-2023 budget, your subsidy is going to go up 4 trillion. When they ask them, come, this doesn't make any sense. People bring in fuel. Corruption, talking about corruption, and Buhari is the Minister of Petroleum, Abi. When you bring, how much liter of fuel does people use in Nigeria daily? They said Nigerians use 20 million liters a day. 20 million liters. Okay. From 20 million liters, it jumped. You said, no, Nigerians now use over 80 million liters a day. So if you bring 80 million liters today, which means if you fill your tank, the tank of your generator, or you fill the tank of your car, full tank, do you fill the tanks every day? For example, okay, maybe I shouldn't use generator because you have to use that constantly, Abi. 4 liter, 5 liter. I'm talking about people who actually buy thousands of liters as a supply. Do they buy them every day? So this is where their math doesn't add up. This is where the corruption was exposed, but nothing is done, and it remained. And Nigeria continued to pump money towards it, and nobody is telling you anything, Abi. This is where the whole thing doesn't add up. If I fill the tank of my car, let's say 50 liters, at least I will use that for, if I'm always like going everywhere, covering so many, you know what I mean? Maybe I'll use that for 2 days. This is not commercial now. Let's say commercial will have to buy again and again and again. But I mean, 80 million liters every day. Hooray. So that is what Nigeria is paying for. So it doesn't make any sense. At the end of the day, like, why is it not like 80 million today, 35 million tomorrow, 40 million next day, 60 million next, 25 million this weekend, or maybe weekend that you have party and all of that, eh? So there should be some level of fluctuation. At least people are not using the same fuel every day. 80 million, 80 million, 80 million. It was just a conduit pipe. And then you are now buying fuel at nearly the double of what it was then. Do you get that now? Then you had inflation as well. Somebody's saying something about inflation, which is all right. Yeah. Over the years, inflation and all that has contributed as well. But Nigeria continued to pump it and pump that. And then in these 7 years, Nigerian refineries died. And one of the solutions that APC, Egbekegbe, proposed 8 years ago was that if the refineries in Nigeria, if they are working, it will cut down the fraud called subsidy. It will create jobs. And at the same time, the money they are paying as exchange for that subsidy, right, can actually remain in Nigeria. Your subsidy has now gone so much that even the money you make from crude oil sales, they are no longer regularly remitted anymore. You know why? Because those who are bringing finished product to Nigeria, they've already collected the money from the source before immediately you are selling your crude oil. And those who are bringing the finished product down to Nigeria to be paid, they just collect the money from the people you sold your crude oil to. And they collect, now nothing remain again. So this year alone, under this APC, Egbekegbe, between January and July 2022, Shishi, Shengbai, NNPC never remitted to Nigerian purse. Can you believe that? The country that is selling crude oil of 1.2 million liters, 1.2 million a barrel of crude oil every day from January to July, no shishi. Have you asked yourselves why? It is because when they finally exchange all the money and everything, crude and everything up there, there's nothing left for you. So they said they will fight corruption. They didn't. Then they said they will do something about your local government system. They said they will give you they will say they will restructure Nigeria. 8 years ago, they said they will restructure Nigeria. APC, Egbekegbe. Not only restructure Nigeria, they will ensure that the local government system actually have its real power, which include to be able to, access their own resources, provide their local security, as you can call them, provide their own local security without having to rely on a rigged system in Nigeria. They made all these promises and they reneged on them. On education, I remember they told you that they were going to give you unemployment allowance. Your children are going to get 2 meals a day as students. And all of you are graduates with no jobs. I mean, you'll be collecting, those who are poor too will be collecting 5,000 naira. That one was there. But I mean, that they will establish at least 6 new university of science and technologies with satellite, blah, 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 and all that. I just thought I should share this with you. They even printed these promises. They printed them and they shared them in Nigeria. Here you get that they will create, jobs, 3 million jobs every year. If they have been creating jobs every year, the multiplier effect of 3 million jobs every year will probably have generated more than 40 to 50 million jobs today. There will still be people who have no jobs, okay? But if you have at least 40 million people working right now, they will be paying taxes. Nigeria will not be this broke and poor. Sure you get. So the same characters who made all these promises, they have put together another set of lies. So I'm going to read out some of these promises that Buhari made. And you can tell me which of them I'm probably missing out on, which they have fulfilled. For example, to reduce fuel pump price to 45 naira per liter in the first year of our administration. We will provide free education at all levels, including university education. We will pay 5,000 naira each to 25 million jobless Nigerians every month. How many of you are collecting that money now? We expand electricity generation to 40,000 megawatts. Today, the Nigerian electricity grid has collapsed 21 times in 7 years under APC. The total generated electricity or megawatt in Nigeria today in 7 years of APC is put at 4,500 megawatts. It used to be 7,500 megawatts when these guys took over 7 years ago. Here you get. Nigeria was generating 7,500 megawatt electricity, and Nigeria was distributing 5,000 megawatt electricity at the time. Today, Nigeria is generating 6,000 electricity, put it that way, generating 6,000, and they said they are distributing 3,500, depleted and declined and decaying as well. They have not built any new power plants. They have not restructured or refurbished the ones they met, and they continue to die. Dakudaji, that's their record. So they said they will increase minimum wage to Nigerian, they will increase the minimum wage of Nigerian workers. That's one is a promise they have kept. Now, that's one promise we know they kept. Nigeria minimum wage was 18,000 naira in 2015. Today, it is 30,000 naira minimum wage. So you can give that to them, okay? So that we are not always like, is there nothing good these people do? But the difference is that 18,000 naira minimum wage could buy you a bag of rice, could pay your rent of 5,000 naira a month, could at least feed your family than what you have today because of the inflation you now have, okay? A bag of rice today is 30,000 naira. House rent is God knows. And you know what it is, what your 30,000 naira can get you today, and than what your 18,000 naira could get you. 7 years ago. So talking about inflation. So yeah, they fulfilled that promise. So they increased the minimum wage. Now, they also promised to stabilize global oil price at $100 per barrel. That's one nonsense promise that Buhari actually said, by making sure that the barrel of crude oil in the world market will remain this, which they have no control over. That was the man they are feeding you with all those propaganda and the Kool-Aid. Now, they said they will place every graduate on allowance after their youth service until they find employment. This particular promise was made by Pastor Ruga. He said there should be employment allowance for the graduate in Nigeria, unemployment allowance for graduates in Nigeria, to discourage them from crimes. While they continue to build the economy, they will be paying you. That the money they are paying politicians was so much that Buhari will cut down the money politicians are taking, and they will channel that money, including the money they've looted from you, looters. They will collect all of that back, and they will make sure that you have your own Libya under Gaddafi experience when APC come to power. They promised that. Pastor Ruga, who was promising the youth, said that. So they said they will provide free school feeding, including fruits, daily for all public primary schools, public primary school pupils, which they have been doing. And yes, is a huge scam. You know what that is? It is a conduit pipe, but they have been doing it skeletally in some places. So you can credit them on that and give them your own marking. They promised. Among them, they said they will revive oil refineries within 1 year in office. They never revived any. Rather, they went to the European Union to borrow them $6 billion in order for them to construct pipelines from Niger Delta oil straight to Niger Republic, where they are investing in expanding their refineries there to be able to process more crude oils rather than them invest it in Nigeria. So that hasn't happened. Not single one is built as of this day. They said they will crush Boko Haram and end insurgency in the first 3 months in office and bring back all missing girls in their captivity. In 7 years, we have seen more school kidnappings under these criminals. Chibok that happened before them was a child play and a campaign strategy. The man that supervised the kidnapping of those Chibok girls is now the awaiting vice president in APC. Egbekegbe. In 7 years, we have witnessed Jangebe kidnap. We have witnessed Dapchi kidnapping. We have witnessed the School of Forestry kidnapping in Kaduna. We have witnessed different mass kidnappings of school children. And under these criminals, yes, we have witnessed even worse. Fulani terrorists have now come into the play. Terrorism is now an industry in Nigeria. Before these rogues, terrorists were behind bars. They were standing trials for their crimes. When these criminals came in, they opened the door of reconciliation and rehabilitation for them, while they also helped them to expand the act of terror beyond the northeast of Nigeria. And today, a Lagos Abobaku, an Oshogbo Alimajiri, an humbled slave, obedient fool, and sophisticated moron will tell you there is no more bomb blasts. Now just ethnic cleansing going on, and that is the Fulani terrorism, which have taken over land. Boko Haram have now metamorphosed into Boko Haram 1, Boko Haram 2, ISWAP. And they are no longer just in Borno. We now have ISWAP in Ondo. We now have ISWAP in Lagos. We now have ISWAP in Oyo, who have told us they are just waiting for the time to show us Pepe. No thanks to APC. Egbekegbe promise and fail. I mean, they told them all security is local, all crime is local. The people can protect themselves if they are allowed to. APC, Egbekegbe, that promised to end terrorism in 3 months. They have now turned it into an industry in 7 years. I just thought I should remind you, before somebody bamboozles you with the ethnic baiting, ethnic blackmailing, religious baiting and religious blackmailing, they promise never to get us to this stage. But look at us. And there is no sign you are going to escape them. No sign, no sign, no sign. So number 9 and 10. So number 11, they did promise no Nigerian will go outside the country for medical treatment. Today, forget the politicians that are going for now, okay, for a moment. Even you Nigerians, when you need this serious medical help on social media, you will be asking for donations because you want to take your loved one to India for medical help. You want to take your loved ones to Germany because of medical help. In 7 years, the president of Nigeria, of APC, Egbekegbe, is made the United Kingdom the medical tourist destination. So attractive that Kalu has been receiving the same treatments from the same NHS in the UK. What does that tell you? They did nothing. As Old Rock Clinic receives the budget of 3.5 billion naira every year, averagely. The last budget of the As Old Rock Clinic was put at 6.1 billion naira. Ladies and gentlemen, I can bet this with you on with anything that Buhari and his family, they probably have no idea what is the color of that clinic. They were supposed to be using this first-class presidential clinic. I mean, your presidential clinic is not even worthy of taking care of your president in 7 years. Hello? Medical tourism is on the rise. Do you know how much the United Kingdom is making from Nigerian politicians and Nigerians alike? Rich Nigerians, including poor Nigerians who are able to raise money to come here. United Kingdom is making over 1.5 billion pounds sterling conveniently from your health and medical visits. Are you with me? Let's go forward. They said that they will build 1 new refinery every year. I have treated that if they have been building one, by now, you should be waiting to open your 8th refineries now, built by APC. Egbekegbe, 8 years, no refinery. The ones they met are dead. In Kaduna, make I tell you this one, Do you know that they have refineries worker in Nigeria, NNPC? There is a refinery in Kaduna. Kaduna no get crude oil. When they asked them, why would you go and build a refinery in Kaduna? They said because building refineries in Niger Delta where they are taking the oil is too risky because Niger Deltans are criminals. They are going to attack the refineries. Haba, you they take their oil, but they don't deserve to have working refineries that will create jobs, that will give them a stable electricity. But it is Nigeria. You see that Kaduna refineries, they have people working there. And guess what? They are collecting salaries. And the refinery never produced one single petrol. It has never refined any single crude oil. One drop of crude oil has never been produced there. Nigeria is spending over 200 billion naira. Are you with me? On salaries of those who are working in Kaduna refinery. And then other refineries in Nigeria that are producing absolute zilch. Nothing. APC. Egbekegbe. So they said they will create 3 million jobs every year. So in 8 years, APC, Egbekegbe should have created right now 24 million jobs, but they didn't. In 8 years, more than 70 million Nigerians lost their jobs. Others, they even left the job and ran away from Nigeria. Do you understand what that means? It simply means that they lied, and their lies actually have their victims, which now make Nigeria the poverty capital of the world. Sadly, they said they will stop importation of refined petroleum that was on subsidy. Rather than stop importation, they have increased it. Rather than reduce how much they spend on it, they have triple, quadruple, quintuple, and all of those, topu, that comes upward. Because from 250 billion naira for subsidy, Nigeria is now spending how much? Almost 4 trillion naira on the same subsidy. Jobs are being lost. The economy is being stifled. The naira is being strangulated. All in 8 years. Inflation everywhere. They will wipe out corruption in the first year of the administration. But the people that will lead the campaign of Tinubu, they are criminals who are not just criminals, so they are going through different court trials. But as we speak, they are in power and they are serving the fiefdom. These are their promises. So Kolu has now rebranded these promises, and they are now going a little bit further, talking about Manifesto today. So when they gathered and said, we have a program for you, where Buhari has now decided to lead Tinubu's campaign. Omo, Olokpa Mako anybody last in. But here, a brief seconds. So that's Buhari there to unveil Tinubu's campaign manifesto, and they will build on, because Tinubu is going to build on Buhari's legacy and on his mandate, as they sang. See, it's like Aluta. Anyway, make I read the manifesto to you, and then you can see the similarity. It's all jargons, but in Nigeria, it's all theatrics, and then until he begins to claim his victims. So here we go. According to the summary, it's about 65 or so pages of their manifesto, you say. Yeah, 65-page manifesto. But those who are able to put together the summary, they did us a good justice. I'll put some on the screen now, yeah? And I'll read them out. Then you see the similarity. And you'll begin to probably feel like, okay, hang on. I mean, what is he talking about? Exactly. You better get ready. Here, 10 promises that Tinubu is making to all of his believers. Ashiwaju, don't worry. You are our next president and all of that, yeah? He's made his promises and you can probably hold him on them, which you can't, by the way. So, he's going to build a Nigeria. Hang on. He's going to build a Nigeria. In fact, what you should put this way. Hang on. Yeah. Here are the 10 promises of Tinubu in his manifesto. Okay. He is going to build a Nigeria, especially for youth, where sufficient jobs with recent wages to create a better life. What does that mean? Decent jobs with decent wages. Okay. Being careful not to give number, right? Then they're going to invest in he said manufacture, create, and invent more of the goods and services we require. Nigeria shall be known as a nation of creators, not just of consumers. I've heard that many times. They said they will export more and import less, strengthening both the Naira and our way of life. I don't know what that means, right? But I mean, to export more and import less. How? You would have to read their manifesto. They will say, Abby. So he said he was going to continue assisting the farmers through enlightened agricultural policy that promotes productivity and assures decent incomes so that farmers can support their families and feed the nation. At least your food will be made in Nigeria. Your lunch will not be imported. Cassava, gari, ewa, or beans. Everything will be produced in Nigeria, right? So, by assisting the farmers. They said they will modernize and expand public infrastructure so that the rest of the economy can grow at, hang on, I think I have another side of, one sec.
We will work with you to build a Nigeria that is not corrupt. I bring you a message of hope. We are going to spend a lot of resources on education.
So, let's continue the other part of the other part of the promises. So they will embolden and support young people and women by harnessing emerging sectors such as the digital economy, entertainment and culture, tourism, and others to build Nigeria of tomorrow today. What does that mean? You don't understand. It's English too hard for you. That is one agbero that if you turn on the camera now and say, yeah, come and explain this to us, it will begin to abuse your papa, abuse your mama, and say, what's your papa? What about your papa? I said, explain this, because we know it's just all fabu bullshit, BS. He said, train and give economic opportunity to the poorest. Economic opportunities to the poorest and most vulnerable among us. We seek a Nigeria where no parent is compelled to send a child to bed hungry, worried whether tomorrow shall bring food. Really? Okay. So they will generate and transmit and distribute sufficient, affordable electricity to give our people the requisite power or required power to enlighten their lives, their homes, and their very dreams, to lighten your dream. Tinubu will give you power to lighten up your dream. Oh, great. Promise. Oh, pinky finger. Or let me say, yeah, pinky finger. Make basic health care, education, and housing accessible and affordable for all. And most importantly, establish a bold and assertive policy. See those free usage of those buzzwords. I'll tell you those buzzwords before I take this off my screen, okay? Most importantly, establish a bold and assertive policy that will create a strong yet adaptive national security architecture and action to obliterate terror, kidnapping, banditry, and all other forms of violence. Right. Director Scott, I hope you are jotting all these buzzwords down and learn how to use them in your own conversations, okay? Buzzwords like embolden, harnessing, emerging sectors, digital economy. People wey ban Twitter, they are talking about digital economy. Digital economy. Let's see another buzzword on that number 7. Economic opportunity. Poorest, vulnerable. What other buzzword you see there? Or buzz sentence as well. So, like this one. So that the parents will not have to worry whether tomorrow shall bring food. Then the other one is like to generate, transmit, distribute, sufficient, affordable electricity in the same sentence. All this in the same sentence by the people who have no idea what they are talking about. Seriously. I mean, 7 years now. Come on. 7 years. If you get all this, you could have shown something, man. But again, just say something, okay? They will generate, they will transmit, they will distribute. And guess what? They have Genco, Disco, and they continue to push people backward, back front, and all that, to why they can't have regular power supply in Nigeria, and why it is so expensive as well in darkness, to pay for darkness in Nigeria. Anyway, now you see this word as well, requisites. Enlighten their lives, their homes, and their very dreams. Martin Luther King in the same, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Barack Obama, who else? Who else they use all this modern, what have you, yeah? In the same word, they will say, man, but you still say, Baba, not correct, oh. God damn me, man. So they make education, so they will make healthcare, make basic healthcare, education, and housing accessible, affordable for all. Accessible, affordable. Do you have any government-built accessible and affordable houses that you're getting in Nigeria today that is helping? Helping in that aspect? Well, again, it is just a free buzzwords. Then they went on, this is the interesting one, to confuse you, to make you think like, wow, Wow. Tinubu, these people, man, see sense. You know, if I enter show, they say, listen, when Tinubu become president, he is going to make sure that, most importantly, that he establish a bold and assertive policy that will create a strong yet adaptive national security architecture and action to obliterate terror, kidnapping, banditry, and all other form of violence. They say, Cabo, Karila Yomodo. I mean, this is it. And the person with the person we define by this. They say, see, even when you are talking, see, Professor, when you are talking, I can feel that the terrorists are shaking. You have plan. Yes, thank you. Because it is not, according to, they will be like, it is not that hard. If I not do, I make you stone me, like they told you years back. Anyway, he's pledged to promise, and usually I prefer him saying them than what is written in the paper there for him. There's a part where they even kind of redesign what it should be like. That one is a stretch, where he called it 16-point agenda. 16-point agenda. So their 16-point agenda is that, spread across everywhere, where they spread the lies as well. Let me see if I can take this a bit of the cover off. So, like somebody said, Mayegun, you can cry, you can do whatever you like. That's your next president. Baba, do you know how much I wish you luck? Because sometimes it is always better to let people kind of get what they want. You know, I've repeated this, or I've said this many times, and I'll repeat it again, okay? Wherever it is that some of you are not paying attention to, that we are pointing out to you, this, I said before, will happen, and it's about to get interesting, where the Kool-Aid is going to be served. And it's going to be served, and those of you who claim to be educated, you are going to be the promoter of it. So though it's not about me, sure you get, with the picture of what they have done to Nigeria, if anybody is smart, if you really, really wish to take back the country, you will never do that according to the workbook of these criminals who are actually in charge than you can ever imagine, or probably you admit. So what they have under, they said they are going to provide transformational leadership that has the ability to unify all of Nigeria and lead us to the attainment of shared goals and vision. Okay, they call it 7-point agenda, rather 7-point agenda. So they want to unite Nigeria. They are running on a Muslim ticket, and they are pushing a propaganda to make sure that eventually, when this comes to be, right, it will just make it obvious that they can do anything and they can get away with anything, whether you like it or not. It won't matter anymore, and it's going to get worse. All right. So it's not about religion, they say, but they put this together because they need that religion. They need that religious push. They need that trust. So when the trust of these fanatics from northern Nigeria, the ones that have been in power of Nigeria for the past 7 years, who want to feel safe away from the crimes they have committed, and a sick old man will do that with a terrorist sympathizer watching him every now and then. Now they want to unify Nigeria, and they will push that. And before you know it, you will begin to feel like, it be like saying a devil, they worry me. That makes me, to be questioning their Muslim, wherever. But that is not an end to in itself. It is just a mean to an end for those who are paying attention. Now, they said that they want to leverage modern technology for digital transformation and economic growth. This is people who actually shut down a social media platform that they felt is so free and exposes and criticizes them for far too much and gives too much power to young people in Nigeria, that they shut it down. And Nigeria lost more than 400 billion naira for that 6 months that they shut Twitter down in Nigeria. They don't care, because this is probably like to all these the worries that are, propagating them. What does that? I mean, they are abusing our president. They are saying all nonsense. They are doing this and that and all of that stuff, because it's all about their president, as we say. So they are now promising to now leverage on modern technology. No, they are not moderating on it. They will shut down Twitter, shut down all social media, shut down internet when all of you become uncomfortable with what is coming for you. So they said they want to create conditions that allow citizens move and transact freely across the nation. Hello, are you serious? So what they are indirectly saying there is that move freely and transact is an indirect promise to the Fulani terrorists, which has come under serious scrutiny. And then the protection they enjoy under the APC. Now, this is a subtle way of telling them that they will be moving freely. And no matter what happened, they shouldn't worry themselves. Again, they also said that they are going to commence extensive infrastructural development or so by building basic foundational services. They said they will create 24 hours access to electricity, road, bridges, etc. that connects power, people, and businesses, ultimately improving the quality of living. Just words. Remember, words, just words. So 7 years they've been unable to show any of that. Now they said they are going to build platforms that enable and empower homegrown businesses to scale and compete favorably in the global markets, but they have a chronic capitalism where Dangote and Buhari from northern Nigeria are given the monopoly of importing grains into Nigeria. In fact, they have the key to Nigerian border than any other part of Nigeria, and that has helped in further impoverishing the people of Nigeria, because that's what monopoly does, for those who have no idea. Again, they said that they are going to promote democracy. Really? Democracy includes the freedom of choice, freedom of gathering, freedom of association, freedom of assembly, peaceful assembly. APC, Egbekegbe, represents all negative things about that. In Lagos, where Tinubu comes from, the Agberos, who are always available to unleash violence and they are above the law, are going to probably become more notorious. Just remember that. Even if you have nothing you can do towards that, or if you have a lot you can do to help us encourage, save our future, save Nigeria, save all of us who don't want to be part of this charade, and break up this contraption, please. Please, please. Break up this contraption and join us in ensuring of that peacefully, we'll say. So they said a lot of other jargons and nonsense there that you all know are just buzzwords. They'll say. So let's go back to the main screen now. As it is, there is nothing new. There is nothing motivating, and absolutely, to those of you who are Yorubas, who have been abusing and attacking and calling people Omoalis, sadly, there is no word on Yoruba nation there. For those of you who said those who are demanding for the peaceful dissolution and then the breakup of the contraption, where we can indeed handle our own affairs in a real republic controlled by the people that actually want to be on their own. I mean, democracy allows that, doesn't it? But in Nigeria, where you have demonstration of crazy, violence, and the rest. So if you have been calling people Omali because they are not interested in Tinubu, now there is nothing like Yoruba nation in that word, though. But when it was convenient for him to threaten them with Yoruba, ladies and gentlemen, he didn't miss his shot. Just a throwback. in Yoruba.
Tí ò bá sí àwa èmi tí ń dúró wájú yìí tí ń lérí ogun tí ní òkè Buhari nìṣó ká máa bá lọ. Kò lè di president. Ó ṣe kìíní olùlẹ̀. Ó ṣe kejì olùlẹ̀. Ó ṣe kẹta olùlẹ̀. Ó tiẹ̀ sunkún lórí tẹlifíṣàn pé láyé òun ò tún rán mọ́. Mo dẹ̀ lọ bá ń Kaduna wà rán ọ̀rọ̀ ẹkún kọ́ lélẹ̀. Àdúró tiẹ̀ wà á dẹ̀ wọlé. Nǹkan kan ní pé o ò ní fọ̀rọ̀ orílẹ̀-èdè Yorùbá ṣeré. Ó dẹ̀ gbà. Àtijọ́ tó yẹ ti débẹ̀ mi ò gba mínísítà mi ò gba contract mi ì tọrọ ọbẹ̀ mi ì tọrọ gàrí mi ì tọrọ fúra lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀ mi ì dẹ̀ ìyàwó ń bẹ̀ mo wá ní lọ́tẹ̀ yìí o Yorùbá ló kàn. Tá a bá dẹ̀ sa Yorùbá náà èmi ló kàn.